everybody for coming. I'm Meghan Telpner, and what he said is pretty much true about me. So what I want to talk about today, and the theme of the Vegetarian Food Fair this year, is compassion. So first, have compassion for me, because I circumcised my finger this week, and really cut off the whole tip of my finger, and it wasn't a cooking accident at all. It was an X-Acto knife. I got through 4 years of design school, but this happened getting ready for the Veg Fair. So I'm keeping the knives over there. We're going to keep that kind of cutting and chopping to a minimum for today. What I want to talk about, extending that thinking of compassion, is compassion. You know, as a vegetarian food fair, they talk a lot about having compassion for animals. I want you to also have compassion for your personal health as well as environmental health. So what I'm presenting today are things that most often, when you transition from sort of a conventional supermarket type diet to more of a vegetarian, maybe health conscious diet, the foods that we often end up still keep buying in packages, things like cereals and, you know, our alternative milk substitutes, our dips, our cookies, and that's what I'm going to make, and there'll be delicious samples for you to have after. So with that being said, I do want to start out just by telling you a little bit more about myself, because I did not grow up eating this way. I did not grow up sprouting lentils and making my own sauerkraut. I ate, you know, like everyone else does. And I couldn't cook either. I owned one cookbook called Help, My Apartment Has a Kitchen, that taught you how to make a tuna fish sandwich. So as I finished university, my undergrad was in fashion, which was very useful when I went to Africa. And then came back and was dealing with a health issue. I had digestive problems for years and years, and 3.5 years and 8 jobs later in advertising, I was too sick to go to work and was finally diagnosed with Crohn's disease, which is a quote-unquote incurable disease, autoimmune, that affects your digestive system. The advice of my doctor was, you're young, eat your cheeseburgers, drink your milkshakes, you have this, learn to live with it. And I was 26 at the time, I'm 30 now, and I just saw my first wiry gray hair last week. I blame it on the circumcised finger. So I was 26, and I was like, I don't want to be sick the rest of my life. There has to be another way to do this. So I retired from advertising and learned to cook, and I started going for acupuncture and doing all these things I'd mocked, like meditate and do yoga. And this week, actually, I now celebrate 4 years, 100% symptom-free from this incurable disease, and I attribute that to this whole foods-based lifestyle. High on plant-based foods, everything made from scratch. There's no preservatives, no additives. I never have to question what it is that I'm eating. I try and know as much as possible where my food was grown, who grew it, and that all the processing that happens in my own kitchen. And that's now what I teach in my school, Love in the Kitchen Academy. So I do those weekly cooking classes, I do workshops, I write a daily blog called Making Love in the Kitchen that you'll see on the National Post or on my own site. And the idea is to inspire that this is really easy, this is really fun, and it's awesomely delicious. And no one that I know of goes to eating this way fully and starts feeling better and then's like, you know, I think I'm going to go back to the McDonald's drive-thru. I like that way better. It's like you can choose that way or you can choose this way. And one leads you to a lifetime of health, and one will build your disease. And that's sort of the choice we make every time we decide what we're going to snack on, what we're going to eat, what we're going to think, how we're going to respond and react. And that's where this compassion thing comes in. Because, you know, have compassion for yourself through this transition and doing it in the best way that you can. We all good? So I'm going to go through this, make a few things. They'll start handing out samples. There'll be time for questions. I ask that you please leave your questions till the end as much as possible, and then I'll give you a few guidelines on those questions when that time comes. So I've asked them to give me a copy of the recipes because I'm really bad at following them even when they're my own. And the samples you have today are variations of what's on here because I get bored making the same things all the time. Yeah. Yeah. Did everyone hear that? If you don't have a recipe, they're Did I do that? Me? Oh. Okay, thank you. There's recipes at the back if you don't have any. All right, so what we're going to make today is a granola. How many people have a box of cereal in their kitchen? That's what I figured. Most people. And they could be, you know, the best muesli you can buy in the supermarket, but you're still buying it in a box that came in a bag that had to go to a factory that had to go through all those steps. I'm going to show you how amazingly easy it is to make granola. You need a mixing bowl. And again, I'm not good at following recipes, but I will try. And because you're not actually eating what I'm making today, it's just a demo. So I tried what you're going to eat, and it's delicious. You need some oats. Rolled oats preferred. They're super cheap. And again, those organic cereals, the really healthy cereals, it's like $5, $6 a box, lasts you maybe 3 or 4 breakfasts. You can make a batch of this on a Sunday. It'll last you 2 weeks, and you're good. So we've got rolled oats, and we're going to put a cup of rolled oats, see, like that, into the mixing bowl. Then we're going to add all the other good stuff that they skimp out on when you buy the cereal. So we're going to put in lots of healthy pumpkin seeds. They're very high in zinc, good for prostate. We're going to put in lots of sunflower seeds, all high in rich in minerals. So basically, my ratio, it's on there. I use about 2.5 cups of oats and then 1/3 of a cup to 1/2 cup of all the different nuts and seeds. Slivered almonds. Slivered almonds are delicious. They toast up really nice. They're a treat. So we're going to add in some slivered almonds. So we've got all of that in here. To make it ooey gooey delicious, we add honey. This honey is raw, which means it's hard. We want our honey to be like this, a little crystallized. We want raw, unpasteurized honey, so you have all those good active enzymes and B vitamins. Unfortunately for me, because I can't really hold and stir, this isn't going to work out too well, but this is where we play make-believe and have compassion on the presenter. So we're going to scoop out, I use about 1/2 cup of honey for this. And we'll just do that. Honey, and the best thing ever is cinnamon. Like, who doesn't love the smell of cinnamon in an oven? Hazard. Make everyone a little nervous. One afternoon in Toronto Western Hospital emergency room is plenty for a lifetime. So we're going to put in some cinnamon. I like to add a little sea salt, also added minerals, Celtic, Himalayan, all those sea salts are really good for you, really rich and awesome minerals. So don't be afraid of salt. Don't eat the crappy white iodized table salt though, but that's all good for you. Let me just check my recipe. Ooh, coconut. Everyone loves toasted coconut, so we're going to put that in. You can add a little vanilla. You can add some coconut oil. Again, this is really hard. If your honey and coconut oil and that sort of stuff is solid, you can lightly heat it over your oven. You don't need to boil it. Don't ever boil these things. But just enough that it's liquidy that you can mix it. So you have all those things in a bowl. What you're going to do, stir it around. See, we're stirring it around. It's liquid honey, so it's blending. We're using our imaginations. And then all you do is lay it out on a cookie sheet. You have your egg timer, right? So you set your egg timer for, say, 35 minutes. You can put it in your pocket. You can go to your computer. You go to Making Love in the Kitchen. You read a few funny articles. It bings, and your breakfast is ready. And that's all there is to it, right? That's as simple as it is to make your own breakfast cereal. That took me 5 minutes because I've been watching my watch. You know, your timer goes, you stir it around, put it back in a little. It smells delicious, it's crispy, it's wonderful. You store it in a jar or a Tupperware if that's what you use. In your fridge, you have fresh homemade cereal for a week. If you want to make it super healthy, when you're serving up for breakfast, you take some ground flax seeds, you add maybe some yogurt if you're having that. Or your milk substitute, which I'll go through, add some chopped walnuts, maybe some fresh fruit, and you have an amazing, healthy cereal made from scratch in no time at all. Do we like that?